Thank you for tuning into TTV. I'm your host, Toya, and today is Saturday. Woo! I hope y'all woke up on a good note too. I hope you have a good weekend that's going on, that you can let go of all the stress, all the nonsense, everything that happened in your week, so you can look forward to the coming weekend and the future. All right? So let that stuff go in the past and let's be presented with the future, right? So the question of the week is, why do bad things happen to good people? I think that's what I put. Something like that anyway. But yes, why do bad things happen to good people? And I came up with this topic because, first of all, y'all know I do all my videos. I record them all in one day. So even though that y'all seeing this on Saturday, it's actually Monday for me. And I had a message from a friend who lost somebody, one of his neighbors. So one of his neighbors passed, and he was really upset over it. It was really bothering him, and he was talking about it, like, why do bad people seem to get away with everything and have the best lives, where good people are struggling and, have a hard time about it. And this is a topic that always hits to me because I really want people to understand that there's always going to be good and bad in life, period. You can't have one without the other, because it's just the way nature works. It's just a balance of things. Just like you have your animals that only eat vegetables and they eat the grass and the plants and bark off the trees and stuff like that. And then you have the animals who eat other animals. And so it balances out so that you don't have too much of either one, right? Because sometimes that animal that eats other animals, the carnivorous one, is going to miss sometimes and not be able to get the herbivore. Sometimes the herbivore is going to get caught by the carnivore. It's going to happen to balance it out so that you don't have too much of anything. Right now, I will say that I do agree there seems to be some kind of imbalance going on. But that's really because of what we see in the media and what goes on, what's presented to us, what we see in social media about all the stuff, the bad things that happen to people in general. And you don't see as much of the good. But in your day-to-day life, how much good do you see? How much bad do you see? Okay? So you have to keep that in mind as well. But getting back to the topic of why do bad things happen to good people. Again, everything balances, yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. And I think sometimes that we look at what we consider bad things that happen in the wrong manner. Because truthfully, they're just lessons. That's all they are. They're just lessons and events that happen in our life. And there's two things I usually use, okay, as an example. And I'm going to give you both of them. The first one is somebody, you're walking around, somebody snatches your purse, okay? You upset over it. You got to cancel all your credit cards. Like all this stuff happened because of it. And all these things that you have to go through because of it. And you're upset. And yes, this was a bad event that happened to you. Something that was traumatic. Something that you didn't want to happen. But because you're telling your story. And because you're sharing that with somebody else. And other women and other men. They're sharing that story with other people as well. And what ends up happening is. The people you're sharing the story with become more alert about what's going on around them. So let's say that one of the people that you're sharing it with had their rent money that they had to go, deposit or give to their landlord. And so instead of keeping it in her purse, she put it in her vault. What we do. Or instead, instead of carrying it around, she put it in a deposit in her bank so that she can just transfer or write a check to her landlord, whatever the case is. So she ends up in a situation where she ends up getting her wallet stolen. But now she's not freaking out as bad because her rent money wasn't in there. But it would have been had you not told that story. Okay? Or let's say it was something even more drastic. Like something even worse that would have happened. Or somebody else would have ended up in a situation that may have put them in a hospital or cost them their life if they weren't alert and paying attention. But because that happened to you and you told them that story, and because they were alert, when they saw the person coming, they were able to go in a different direction to someplace public and get to someplace safe. Okay. The other thing that may be more realistic for you, or more like, okay, Toya, that's a little far-fetched as far as the purse snatching thing. Okay, let me give you a different story. Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves was the one who played Superman back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, something like that. But he played Superman. Okay. He loved horseback riding. He fell off a horse, and in the process of falling off the horse, he ended up paralyzed neck down. Because he ended up paralyzed neck down, he put a lot of money and sponsorship and spoke out against all for stem cell research. So stem cell research advanced to the way it is right now today for all the things that it can do because he fell off of his horse. So him falling off the horse was a very traumatic, bad experience for him. But because that happened to him, how many people have benefited from stem cell research, from the things that they've come up with that? Okay, so that's another way I like to think of it. So just because something bad happens, it doesn't mean that it's something bad. Sometimes they are lessons. Sometimes it's what we need in order to push us forward. Sometimes it's you have to go through that ditch. You have to go through that darkness. You have to go through that event to help somebody else, to help protect somebody else, or help somebody else be aware, or help somebody else in their life. Okay, so I had another friend who ended up a whole issue with drinking and driving. Okay. And she ended up with this accident, but because she got caught with that, and because she had to go through everything that she went through, it made her sisters and brother and her cousins, everybody who she told the story to, more aware and more present about what it is that they're doing, instead of drinking and driving, or smoking and being high and driving. It made them rethink this. Like, oh, I just had 4 drinks. Let me sit here for a minute before I go, or call an Uber. So all I'm saying is that sometimes those events that happen, you consider them bad. And yes, they may be something bad that happened to you and something traumatic that happened to you. But what lesson are you supposed to be getting out of this? How are you helping other people when you share that lesson that happened to you? Okay, that's what you need to think about. The other thing is a lot of people say, but bad people that do bad things, they seem to stick around for forever and they get away with all it. Sometimes I think, and this is just my opinion, I think they get a little extra time. Because God is sitting back, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, great integrity, whatever you call it, is sitting there trying to give them more time to get right. More time to balance out. And sometimes they are the ones that's teaching you those lessons that you need to learn. So in all I'm saying is kind of rethink what it is that you feel is bad, or that you feel is traumatic, or that you feel is this horrible thing that happened. Because as bad as it is, watch what comes out of it. You know, like sorry y'all, I had some pizza, which was some cheese. That's why I don't eat the cheese, because I get congested. And then the congestion mixed with the air conditioning, it's got me messed up right now. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So sometimes when those bad things happen, like a mother who lost her child was kidnapped. Okay. And she can't find her child, and now she's speaking out about it, and she's trying to warn other mothers who do different things. Okay, because she had that experience, now she's making people around her more aware, so that their children don't get kidnapped and they don't go through that. Okay, I know that's dramatic, but I'm just saying. Another one is it was a story. I don't remember where I heard this from. I don't know if it was inside a movie, a book I read, or what. I don't know. But the mother lost her child. It was a book. The mother lost her child because she didn't put the dresser fell over on her child when her child was climbing up. So because the dresser fell over on her child and killed her child when he was like 2 years old, 3 years old, because of that, she spoke out, and is the reason why we have every time you buy a cabinet or a bookcase or something like that, they have those anchors in there that you're supposed to use to prevent it from falling over, so it doesn't hurt or kill anybody else's child. So because that happened to her, she became a spokesperson for it, and now it's a part of a regulation to include that to prevent the death of other children. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Yes, it may be bad, but what comes out of it? What came out of it? Was it all bad, or was there a lesson to be learned there? Was there something that person took out of that to try to make it better for other people? So just keep that kind of thing in mind. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share, and drop a comment down below. Tell me what you think. But that's it. So I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.